Dear students, welcome to next video of Agricultural Finance and Cooperation, that is Econ 242. In today's lecture, we will discuss in detail about the various higher financing agencies like Reserve Bank of India, then National Bank for Agricultural and Rural Development, that is NABARD, then the World Bank, then International Monetary Fund, and ADB means Asian Development Bank, and another one is DICGC. So we will discuss in detail about these higher financing agencies one by one. So first one is RBI, that is Reserve Bank of India. So the Reserve Bank of India was established in the year 1935 under the Act of Reserve Bank of India Act 1934. Keep in mind, the Reserve Bank of India was established in the year 1935 and headquarter of Reserve Bank of India is located at Mumbai, Maharashtra. Now, the RBI was set up to regulate the issue bank notes, then to secure monetary stability in the country, to operate currency and credit system to its advantages. So these are the some purposes behind the establishment of the RBI. So the major role of RBI in agricultural credit or agricultural finance was found in establishment of agricultural credit departments, means for financing the agricultural sector there is special department, that is agricultural credit department, ACD. Now we have to know the functions of ACD, which are the different functions of agricultural credit department. So first function of ACD is to coordinate the functions of RBI with other banks, means ACD has to coordinate the functions of RBI with other banks and state cooperative banks in respect of agricultural credit. Means what are the in related to agricultural credits, the ACD has to coordinate between RBI and state cooperative banks and other banks. Then second, to maintain expert staff to study all the questions of agricultural credit, means ACD maintains the staff to study all the questions of agricultural credit and be available for the consultation by central government, state government, scheduled commercial banks and state cooperative banks. Means ACD plays a major role in the maintaining the expert staff of RBI to study all the questions of agricultural credit and availability for the consultation by state government, central government and scheduled commercial banks or to related to cooperative banks. Then third one, to provide legislation to check private money lending and checking other malpractices, means in the agricultural credit system, okay, ACD means agricultural credit department checks the private money lending and other malpractices in the agricultural sector. As we know, in a recent area or in the not in recent, in the old era, means in the 1940, before the nationalization of bank, there was the malpractices done by the some landlords or some money lenders, private money lenders with the farmer. Okay, to control such malpractices, agricultural credit department has a legislation to check private money lendings. Then All India Rural Credit Survey Committee, that is AIRCSC, under the chairmanship of Sri Gorwala in 1954, suggested several recommendations with regard to the activities of RBI in a sphere of rural credit based on these two funds were established after amending RBI Act in 1934. Means All India Rural Credit Survey Committee under the chairmanship of Sri Gorwala in 1954 was established, and they have suggested the recommendation of the activities of RBI in a sphere of rural credit or in related to rural credit based on these two funds, So which are those? We will see. Now this is a logo of Reserve Bank of India. Then National Agricultural Credit Fund, that is Long Term Operation Fund 1955, and second one is National Agricultural Credit Stabilization Fund, which was in the 1956. So these are the two funds were recommended by the Gorwala in 1954, okay, in the amending RBI Act 1934. So National Agricultural Credit Long Term Operations Fund 1955, it has started an initial capital of 10 crores and annual contribution up to 5 crore, and later this was increased up to the 15 crores. So this fund means National Agricultural Credit Long Term Operations Fund was meant to provide long term loans to various state governments so as to enable them to contribute the spare capital of different types of cooperatives, societies, including land mortgage banks, that is LMBs. So LMBs, they got the capital from the National Agricultural Credit Long Term Operation Fund 1955. So land and advances out loans and advances out of this fund are made to state government for a period not exceeding 20 years. Then next is National Agricultural Credit, that is Stabilization Fund 1956. So it was started with RBI's initial contribution of 1 crore and subsequent amount contribution of 1 crore. So this fund is utilized for the purpose of granting medium term loans to state cooperative banks, that is SCBs. So keep in mind, the National Agricultural Credit Fund 1955, it is related to long term operations, and National Agricultural Credit Fund 1956, it is related to Stabilization Fund, and it is also related to medium term loans to state cooperative banks, especially during the times of famines, means during the times of natural calamities, famines, droughts and other natural calamities, when they are unable to repay their loans to RBI. So the state and central government banks and PSCs in turn provide a similar facility to farmer borrowers regarding the short term production loans taken for the crop affected by the natural calamities. Means the same scheme is applied for the PSCs, means primary agriculture cooperative credit societies. In turn they provide the such same facilities to farmer borrower regarding the short term loans or regarding the crop loans in a case of the natural calamities. So this helps the farmer in getting additional finance, at the same time reducing their burden of repaying the loans immediately. So this is about the two funds of RBI. One is about the National Agricultural Credit Fund 1955, which was related to long term operation. Then another one is National Agricultural Credit Fund 1956, which is related to Stabilization Fund, or which is related to long term and short term fund. Okay. The next, the functions of RBI, most important functions of RBI. As we have earlier discussed, the establishment of RBI, headquarter of RBI, purpose behind the establishment of RBI, then which are the two funds of RBI. Now the functions of RBI. So functions of RBI are divided into the three parts or three aspects. These are the first, provision of finance, second promotional activities, and third one regulatory function. So the functions of RBI in the sphere of rural credit can be dealt seen under the three aspects, means it is divided in the three parts. First part is about the provision of finance, second promotional activities, and third one regulatory function. So first is provision of finance. So RBI provides the necessary finance needed by the farmers through the commercial banks, cooperative banks, and RRBs on refinance basis. So RBI provides or RBI supplies the finances needed by the farmer through the commercial bank, cooperative bank, and RRBs means regional rural banks on the refinance basis. Means those banks who have taken the financial support from the RBI, they have to refinance or they have to repay that loan to RBI also. Okay. So in advances, long term loans to state government for their contribution to share capital of the cooperative credit institutions like state cooperative banks, district cooperative central banks, etc. Means RBI advances the long term loan to state government through the SCBs and DCCBs. SCB means state cooperative banks and DCCB means district cooperative central banks. Okay. Then RBI also advances the medium term loans to state cooperative banks. Here keep in mind, in case of finance, provision of finance, RBI advances long term loans to SCBs means state cooperative banks and DCCBs district cooperative central banks, and it advances the medium term loan to state cooperative banks. Okay. It extend refinance facility to RRBs only to an extent of 50% of outstanding advances. Means these are the special cases, these are the special facilities provided by RBI, Reserve Bank of India, to RRBs only to an extent of 50% of outstanding advances to RRBs only. Means they are providing the 50% loan amount advances, outstanding advances to RRBs, regional rural banks. Now this is about the provision of finance. Means next, provisional activities, promotional activities. First provision of finance, second promotional activities, and third one regulatory function. So second is promotional activities. Now in a promotional activities, Reserve Bank of India constitute study team to look into the organization and operation of the cooperative credit institutions all over the country. Means the team of Reserve Bank of India look into or they controls the organization and operation of the cooperative credit institutions in our India. Okay, so RBI controls the organization and operation of cooperative credit structure in India. Then it also conducts number of surveys and studies related to rural credit aspects in the country. Means RBI conducts the surveys, different surveys to study the rural credit, structure of rural credit or status of rural credit in our India. Then next, RBI felt that cooperatives are the major force in the field of agricultural credit. Means according to RBI, Reserve Bank of India, cooperatives means cooperative sector finance is the major force in the field of agricultural credit, and hence following measures were framed for the strengthening of cooperatives. Okay, means to develop the cooperative credit structure in the agricultural sector, RBI have framed the measures. So these are the first one, reorganization of the state and central cooperative banks, reorganization of state and central cooperative banks on the principle of one apex bank for each state and one central bank for each district. That is lead bank scheme. We have already discussed. So this is about the lead bank scheme, reorganization of the state and central cooperative bank on the principle of one apex bank for each state and one central bank for each district. Then rehabilitation of those central cooperative banks which are financially weak, means supporting those cooperative banks which are financially weak due to mounting overdues, insufficiency of internal finances, or untrained staff or poor management. So RBI also supporting the weak cooperative banks also. Then strengthening of PSCs, that is primary agriculture cooperative societies, to ensure their financial and operational viability, means RBI also supporting the PSCs to ensure their financial and operational viability. Then arranging suitable training programs for the personnel of cooperative institutions, means RBI also arranging the suitable training programs to the staffs of cooperative institutions. So this is about the promotional functions of RBI. Now last one is regulatory functions of RBI. So Reserve Bank of India is concerned with efficiency of channels through which credit is distributed, means RBI is concerned with the efficiency of channels or ways through which credit is distributed or through which credit is transferred from central to state, state to district, district to PSCs, and PSCs to the farmers or borrowers. So according to Banking Regulation Act 1966 makes the RBI to exercise effective supervision over the cooperative banks and commercial banks, means according to Banking Regulation Act 1966, RBI has a right to do supervision over the cooperative banks and the commercial banks. So it is under the regulatory functions of RBI, means they are doing the supervision on commercial banks and the cooperative banks in the India. So as per the credit authorized scheme, that is CAS of 1976, the cooperative bank should get prior authorization from RBI for providing finances beyond a certain limit. Then the cash liquidity ratio, that is CLR. Keep in mind, long form of CLR, cash liquidity ratio. Then CRR, cash reserve ratio. Don't forget these two long forms: CLR, cash liquidity ratio; CRR, cash reserve ratio. R means these two ratios, CLR and CRR, are fixed by RBI for cooperatives, farmer service societies, that is FSS, regional rural banks, RRBs, and agricultural development banks, that is ADBs, at a lower levels than those fixed for commercial banks, means CLR and CRR are different for commercial banks and they are different for FSS, RRBs, ADBs at a lower levels, means at a lower charges. Okay, so for these cooperative banks, the bank rate was 3% less than that of commercial banks, means RBI charges the CLR and CRR at the rate of 3% less than of commercial bank to FSS, RRBs, ADBs. Okay, they are permitted by RBI to pay 0.5% higher rate of interest on deposits. So this is about the functions of RBI. In that we have seen the provision of finance main function, then there are some promotional activities or promotional function, and last one the regulatory function of RBI. Now the credit control and credit squeeze of RBI. Credit control and credit squeeze of RBI. So generally, the term credit control or credit squeeze indicates or shows the regulation by monetary authority. Regulation by monetary authority, that is RBI, means credit control or credit squeeze shows the regulations, rules and regulation of RBI on the volume and direction of credit advanced by central banking system, particularly the commercial banks. Particularly the commercial banks. So this is about the credit control and credit squeeze. So it is nothing but it is just the rules and regulations or regulation by the RBI on the volume and direction of credit advanced by the banking system, particularly by commercial banks. So in the time of inflation, credit control operations aims at contraction of credit, while during deflation they aim at expansion of credit. So as we know what is mean by inflation, what is mean by deflation. So in the period of inflation, RBI plays a very important role in a credit control operations. So in the time of inflation they do the contraction of credit, and in the time of deflation they do the expansion of credit. So now there are different methods of credit control. There are two methods of credit control. First one quantitative. First one quantitative or general credit control, and second one qualitative or selective credit control. Now in a quantitative or general credit control, RBI aims at regulating the amount of bank advances, that is to make banks to lend more or less, means it is related to regulating the amount of bank advances, that is higher or lower. Then in case of qualitative or selective credit control, RBI aims at diverting the bank advances in a qualitative. Okay, RBI diverting the bank advances into certain channels or to discourage them from lending for certain purposes. So these controls in recent times assume special significance, especially under developed countries. So this is about the two methods of credit control, quantitative and qualitative. Okay, so quantitative means general credit control and qualitative means selective credit control. Now next, credit rationing. So this is about credit control. Next is credit rationing. So credit rationing is nothing but rationing of loans by non-price means. Rationing of loans by non-price means at a times of excess demand for a credit. Rationing of loans by non-price ways or non-price way means at a times of excess demand for credit. So under the variable capital asset ratio, the RBI fixes a ratio of capital to total assets of the commercial banks. Now, so this is all about the RBI. Now, the next higher financing agency is NABARD. It is most important. Okay, NABARD means long form of NABARD, National Bank for Agricultural and Rural Development. So this is most important institution related to agricultural credit and rural credit system. Okay, so according to ARDC means Agricultural Refinance and Development Corporation. Here in this topic or in this video, you have to just keep in mind the different long forms which may be asked in your semester end exam or in any other competitive exams related to agriculture sector. Okay, so ARDC means Agricultural Refinance and Development Corporation had not made an expected dent in the field of directing finance and delivery of rural credit against the massive credit demand for the rural development. Means ARDC was not that much successful in a respect to agricultural or rural credit. So as a result of many commissions were constituted like Banking Commission in 1972, National Commission on Agriculture 1976, then Committee to Review Arrangement for Institutional Credit in Agricultural and Rural Development, that is CRAPI-CARD, in 1979. So as a result of these committees or these commissions, the CRAPI-CARD means credit in agricultural and rural development. So institutional credit in agricultural and rural development means CRAPI-CARD in 1976. So this CRAPI-CARD under the chairmanship of Sri Sivaraman, a former member of Planning Commission, recommended the setting up of national level institution like NABARD for providing all the types of production and investment credit for the agriculture and rural development. So keep in mind the NABARD was recommended by the Sri B. Sivaraman in the CRAPI-CARD committee or in the CRAPI-CARD. So as the result of CRAPI-CARD's recommendations, NABARD came into existence on 12th July 1982. Keep in mind this date, 12th July 1982, on the recommendations of CRAPI-CARDs by under the chairmanship of Sri B. Sivaraman. Okay, so the existing national level institutions such as Agricultural Finance and Development, that is ARDC, Development Corporation, ARDC, ACD, Agricultural Credit Department, and Rural Planning and Credit Cell, that is RPCC of RBI, were merged with NABARD. Means these are the previous national level institutions which were merged in the NABARD. These are ARDC means Agricultural Refinance and Development Corporation, ACD, Agricultural Credit Department, and RPCC, that is Rural Planning and Credit Cell. All these three were merged into the NABARD with a share capital of 500 crore equally contributed by Government of India and RBI. So NABARD operates through its head office at Mumbai. So as we have seen, the head office of RBI, it is also at Mumbai, Maharashtra. Then head office of NABARD is also at the Mumbai, Maharashtra, and there are 17 regional offices, one each in a major states, 10 sub offices in a smaller states UTs, and 213 district offices. So NABARD has one head office, 17 regional offices, 10 sub offices, and 213 district offices. So here keep in mind, NABARD was established on the Graphicard committee recommendation of Graphicard under the chairmanship of Sri B. Sivaraman on the 12th July 1982. Head office of NABARD is at the Mumbai. Okay. So this is the logo of NABARD. Then Board of Management of NABARD. So central government in a consultation with RBI appoints all the directors in the board of management along with the chairman and managing director, MD. So the MD is the chief executive officer, that is CEO of NABARD. Means managing director is the CEO in the NABARD, and he is primarily responsible for the various operations of the bank or various operations of NABARD. So apart from MD, means other than MD, chairman, MD and chairman, the board of management consists of 13 other directors. Mean in the board of management, other than MD and chairman, there are 13 other directors, and these directors were act as advisory council of NABARD. So question may be asked, how many directors of advisory council of NABARD are present? So your answer must be there are 13 other directors which acts as a advisory council of NABARD. Now we will see the classification of these 13 directors of advisory council. So 2 are expert in rural economics and rural development, 3 are representative of cooperatives, then another 3 are representative of commercial bank, then another 3 are officials of government of India, and last 2 are the official belong to the respected state government. So this is the classification of these 3 other directors of advisory council of NABARD. Now which are the different sources of fund of NABARD? Sources of funds of NABARD. So authorized share capital of NABARD is 500 crore. How much authorized share capital of NABARD? It is the 500 crore, equally contributed by Government of India and RBI, and issued and paid up capital is rupees 100 crore. And there are some other sources of fund. First, borrowing from Government of India and institution approved by GOI. Second, borrowings from RBI, means first source is Government of India, second RBI, third deposits from state governments and local authorities, fourth gifts and some grants received. So these are the some sources of funds of the NABARD. Then objectives behind the establishment of NABARD. Which are the specific objectives of NABARD? So first one, NABARDs act as an apex refinancing institution. NABARD act as an apex or upper refinancing institution. Then NABARD surveys and estimates all types of credit needed for the farm sector and rural development. NABARD does or NABARD conducts surveys and estimates all types of credit needs in the agriculture sector and rural development. Then next, NABARD takes responsibility of promoting and integrating rural development activities through refinance. Means second objective is that NABARD takes the responsibility of promotion and integration of rural development activities through refinance in the agriculture and rural area. Then third, with the approval of Government of India, NABARD also provides direct credit to any institution or organization or an individual. Means with the approval, with taking the approval of Government of India, NABARD can provide direct credit to any institution or any organization or to an individual also. Means NABARD is also providing the direct credit to the any institution, to any organization or to any individual also. Then fourth objective of NABARD is maintaining close links with RBI for guidance and assistance in financial matters. Means NABARD maintains, connects the RBI for guidance and assistance in the financial matters. And last objective, NABARD acts as an effective catalyst agent. NABARD acts as effective catalyst agent for rural development, that is in formulating appropriate rural development plans and policies. Means NABARD plays very vital or important role. It acts as catalyst agent for rural development. So these are the objectives of the NABARD. Now the functions. As we have seen in case of RBI, the functions of RBI also divided into the three parts. Similarly, the functions of NABARD are also divided into the three categories. First one, credit activities, second, development activities, and third one, regulatory activities. Okay, so first, credit activities. NABARD prepares for each district a potential linked credit plan annually. This forms the basis for district credit plan. Then second, it participates in a finalization of annual action plan at block, district and state level. Third, it monitors the implementation of credit plans. Fourth, NABARD frames the terms and conditions to be followed by credit institutions in financing rural farm and non-farm sectors. And last one is it provides refinance facilities. Means these are the credit activities conducted by NABARD. The next, refinance. Refinance is of two types: short term refinance, medium term and long term refinance. Short term refinance and medium term and long term refinance. So in a short term refinance is extended for the agricultural production operations and marketing of crops. So here remember, the short term refinance is extended or is given for agricultural production operations and marketing of crops by the farmers and farmer cooperatives and production and marketing activities of village and cottage industries. Okay. Then the eligible institutions for short term refinance are state cooperative banks, regional rural banks, commercial bank and other banks approved by RBI. So the time period is up to 12 months. For NABARD's refinance, NABARD's short term refinance time period is 12 months. Then medium term and long term refinance. So this is about short term. Now the medium term and long term refinance. So is extended, medium term and long term refinance is extended for investment in agriculture and allied activities such as minor irrigation projects, farm mechanization, dairy, horticulture, and for investment activities for rural artisans, small scale industries, etc. The period of medium term and long term refinance is up to the maximum up to the 15 years. In a short term refinance period up to the 12 months only, but in case of medium term and long term it is up to the maximum up to the 15 years. The eligible institutions are land development banks. Means for medium term and long term refinance of NABARD, the eligible institutions are land development banks, that is LDBs. So now the extent of refinance under various schemes means in how much quantity NABARD provides refinance on a various scheme. For the pilot rainfed farming projects, NABARD providing the 100% refinance. For watershed development schemes of individual, they are also providing 100%. For non-farm sector schemes outside the purview of IRDP, they are providing the 100%. For agro processing units, providing 75%. Then for biogas scheme, they are providing up to the 75%. Then all other schemes including IRDP, that is integrated rural development program, they are providing up to the 70% refinance. Then for farm mechanization, NABARD is providing up to the 50% refinance. Then rural electrification corporation 50%. Then apart from refinance, NABARD also provides direct finance to state government, state sponsored corporations. Then NABARD will monitor its assisted projects in order to ensure their proper implementation. Means NABARD is just not providing the financial support or not providing the refinance in a percentage, they also monitor its assisted projects, means they are doing the monitoring on the NABARD sponsored projects and their proper implementation. They ensure their proper implementation of their projects. It also undertakes consultancy work for projects even though they are not refinanced by the NABARD. So this is about the all over about the NABARD. Now next financial, another one, developmental activities of NABARD. Developmental activities of NABARD. So for the productive use of credit, the following development activities are undertaken by the NABARD. First one, institutional development. Second, research and development fund. Third, agricultural and rural enterprise incubation fund, that is AREIF. Then RPCF means rural promotion and corpus fund. Then CFSF, that is credit and financial services fund. Then linking self-help groups to credit institution, and last, under this it provides the 100% refinance to banks for loans extended to self-help groups. So these are the some development activities undertaken by the NABARD. Okay. So in case of institutional development, they are providing the financial assistance for establishment and development of institutional financial agencies. In case of research and development, NABARD provides the fund for research and development. Then in case of agricultural and rural enterprises incubation fund, they are providing assistance and while inception of new enterprises. So this is about the development activities carried out by the NABARD. So next is regulatory activities. Next is the third part of functions of NABARD is regulatory activities. Now in regulatory activity, NABARD is as Apex Development Bank. NABARD is a Apex Development Bank. NABARD shares with RBI some of the regulatory and supervisory function in respect of cooperative banks and regional rural banks. Means NABARD they are sharing some activities, regulatory activities with the RBI related to supervisory functions, okay, of the cooperative banks and RRBs. They are under Banking Regulation Act 1949. NABARD undertakes the inspection of RRBs and cooperative banks other than PSEs. Any RRBs or cooperative bank seeking permission of RBI for opening branches needs recommendation of NABARD. Then third one, The state and district central cooperative banks also need authorization from NABARD for extending assistance to units outside the cooperative sector and non-credit cooperatives of certain purposes beyond the cutoff limit. So this is all about the three parts or of functions of NABARD. Now next is World Bank. So we another word for World Bank is IBRD. World Bank or IBRD. IBRD means International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. Question may be asked for in the long term, write a long form of IBRD. IBRD means International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. So IBRD is also called as World Bank, was established in the year 1945. Establishment year of World Bank is 1945. World Bank is also known as International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. So it is a sister institution of another international financing agency, that is International Monetary Fund, that is IMF. So World Bank is the sister institution of IMF. Okay. So World Bank aims to reduce the poverty by promoting the sustainable economic development in a member countries. Then World Bank attains the goal, means World Bank provides the loan and technical assistance for various projects and programs in the developing member countries. Then the financial strength of World Bank is based on the support it receives from the shareholders and financial policies and practices adopted by the World Bank. And last, the main activity of World Bank is to provide loan to member countries. So this is about the World Bank. Now the functions of World Bank: first, development activity; second, providing loan; third, consultancy; fourth, research and training; fifth, trust fund administration, investment management. So in a development activities, World Bank provides loan to member countries to meet their developmental needs. Then it also provides the technical assistance and other services to member countries to reduce the poverty. Means World Bank provides the financial support in the poverty alleviation program in the member countries. So this is about the development activities. Second, the providing loan. So each loan must be approved by World Bank executive directors. Then apart from providing the loan, it also waives the loan under special circumstances, that is the occurrence of natural calamities. Means to the member countries, World Bank helps during the period of natural calamities. Okay. So after providing loans, the appraisal of the project is carried out by IBRD's operational staffs, that is World Bank staff. It comprising the engineers, financial analysts, economists and other specialists. So the loan disbursement are subjected to the fulfillment of conditions laid in the loan agreements. Means these are the some functions of the World Bank in providing the loans. So during the implementation, World Bank expense staff periodically visits, means they are doing the controlling or the supervision of the World Bank funded projects or World Bank funded policies. Okay. So this is about the providing loans. Then next, consultancy. So in addition to the financial help to member countries, World Bank also provide technical assistance to the member countries irrespective of loan taken from it or not. Means their World Bank also providing the technical assistant support to the member countries, either they have taken loan or not. Then there is a growing demand from borrowers for strategic advice, knowledge transfer and capacity building. Means there is demand for World Bank experts from the borrowers of different countries in a strategic advice, in a knowledge transfer and capacity building aspect. So this is about the consultancy of World Bank with the member countries. Then role of World Bank in research and training program. So for assisting its member countries, the World Bank offers courses and trainings related to economic policy development and administration of government and organization that work closely with World Bank. Means World Bank also conducts some training programs related to economic development of member countries. So this is about research and training. Then next is trust fund administration. So World Bank itself or jointly with IDA, that is International Development Agency, on behalf of donors restricts the use of fund for specific purpose only. Means they are also controlling the use of credit or use of fund for specific purposes. So the financial fund or financial support provided by World Bank must be used for the specific purpose only. The funds so obtained are not included in the list of assets owned by the IBRD. Means the funds so obtained are not included in the list of assets owned by IBRD. The next is investment management. So IBRD or World Bank provides investment management services for external institution by charging a fee. It is also activity of World Bank. They are providing the investment management services by charging some fees. The funds thus obtained are not included in the assets of IBRD. Means the funds earned by World Bank or IBRD in the trust fund administration and investment management, they are not including that funds or that income in the assets of IBRD. Okay. The next is IDA. So this is about the World Bank or IBRD. Now next higher financing institution is IDA. So IDA, International Development Association, was established in the year 1960. The main goal is to reduce the poverty through promoting economic development in less developed areas of world. So keep in mind, main goal of IDA is to reduce the poverty. The International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, IBRD, better known as the World Bank, was established in 1945 to help Europe recover from the devastation of World War II. The success of that enterprise led the bank within a few years to turn its attention to developing countries. So IDA's articles of agreement become effective in 1960. Means it was established in the 1960 after the World War II. Okay, so this is about the IDA, that is International Development Association. You have to just keep in mind when it was established, what is the main aim or main goal of IDA. So main goal of IDA is to reduce the poverty through promoting the economic development in a less developed areas of the world. The next, so the first IDA loan known as credit were approved in 1961 to Chile, Honduras, India and Sudan. IDA currently has 169 member countries. Members subscribe to IDA's initial subscriptions and subsequent re-implements by submitting the necessary documents and making the required payment under the replenishment arrangements. Then the IDA is the part of World Bank that helps the world's poorest countries. So IDA is the part of World Bank that helps the world poorest countries. So it is established in 1960. So this is about the IDA. Then next most important is International Monetary Fund, IMF. What is the long form of IMF? International Monetary Fund. So International Monetary Fund is an international organization. At present 185 countries are the members of IMF. How many countries are member of IMF? 185 countries are the members of IMF. So headquarter of IMF is located at Washington DC, USA, United States of America. Washington DC. Now the origin of IMF. After the Second War, many countries felt the need of an organization to get the help in monetary matters between the countries. So to begin with, 29 countries discussed the matter and signed an agreement. The agreement was Articles of Association on the International Monetary Fund. So in the year 1945, in the December month, IMF came into existence. So IMF came into begin in December 1945. Keep in mind the year and month. IMF December 1945. Any country can apply to become a member of IMF. So functions of IMF. The IMF does not a number of supervisory works relating to financial dealings between different countries. Means IMF doing the supervision work. IMF doing the supervision work related to financial dealings between the two countries. Then some of the work done by IMF are helping in international trade, that is the businesses between the two countries. Means IMF also helping in the international trade of two countries. Then looking after the exchange rate, because the currencies of different and currencies of countries are different, so they are looking after in the matters of the exchange rates. Then looking after balance of payment, helping the member countries in economic development. So these are the some functions of the IMF. Now next higher financing agency is ADB, that is Asian Development Bank. So ADB is the regional development bank established in the year 1966. ADB means Asian Development Bank, which was established in the year 1966 to promote economic and social development in Asia and specific countries by providing loans and technical assistance. So headquarter of ADB means Asian Development Bank is located at Manila, Philippines. Headquarter of ADB means Asian Development Bank is at Manila, Philippines. So ADB aims at eradication of or removal of poverty in the Asia Pacific region. So it is multilateral financing institution owned by 67 members with 48 members from the region of Asia Pacific and 19 from the other parts of the globe or other parts of world. So the highest policy making body of the bank is the Board of Governors, consisting of one representative from each member country. So this is about the ADB or Asian Development Bank. So it plays the role or main functions of ADB are they provide ADB Asian Development Bank provides loan and equity investment to its developing countries, DMCs, developing member countries. Then ADB provides technical assistance for the planning and execution of development projects, programs and advisory services also. Then another function, ADB promotes and facilitates investment on public and provide capital for development of in the member countries. Then ADB assists in the coordinating developmental policies and plans of its developing member countries. So this is about the Asian Development Bank, which was established in the year 1966, and headquarter of ADB is at Manila, Philippines. Now last, DICGS means Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Corporation. DICGC means Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Corporation. So, the concept of insuring deposits kept with banks received attention for the first time in the year 1948 after the banking crisis in Bengal. So, the question come up with a reconstruction in the year 1949, but it was decided to hold in the abeyance till the Reserve Bank of India ensured adequate arrangements for the inspection of banks. So, subsequently, in the year 1950, the Rural Banking Inquiry Committee also supported the concept of DICGC. So, government after the crash of Palai Central Bank Limited and the Lakshmi Bank Limited in the 1960. So, the Deposit Insurance Corporation, that is DIC bill was introduced in the Parliament on the August 1961. After it was passed by the Parliament, the bill got the assent of the President on December 1961, and the Deposit Insurance Act 1961 came into force on the 1st January 1962. So, just keep in mind, in case of long form of DICGC, and it was came into force on the 1st January 1962, Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Corporation. Now, objective. So, objective is to contribute to stability and public confidence in the banking system through provision of deposits, insurance and credit guarantee to small depositors and borrowers. Means, because of some issues in the West Bengal in the 1949, government has to think about the deposits or think about the deposit insurance and credit guarantee. So, they have developed such a corporation which came into force on the 1st January 1962. So, their main objective is to contribute or to maintain the stability and maintain the public confidence about the banking system through providing the deposit insurance. Means they are providing the insurance facility to deposited money and credit guarantee to small holders and the borrowers, or small depositors and to the borrower. Okay. So, this is about the higher financing agencies in the agricultural finance. You can refer the book Agricultural Finance and Management by Subba Reddy Raghuram, another book by Agricultural Economics by Subba Reddy. So, keep watching my videos, like, comment and share these videos with the students of 4th semester or the students who are preparing for competitive exams based on the agriculture. Thank you.